Hello, costume class. All right, let's start this week up and see what we can do with the stuff we have left over on the floor. So, cut all of these things away. They're gone. All of this has been shortened and brought in. I noticed some of you guys that have shirts that had like a back panel. You may need to shorten that also on the sides, but not otherwise because you want to keep the length. I tried to use my stapler to like staple the stuff together. I no longer have a stapler. I have a lump. So, if you have a stapler and not a sewing machine, try it that way. But I'm going to try to pin this thing today. First thing we do, fold this over on top of the other one. Now remember, seam allowance. You are not cutting these things to the exact size you need because it takes a certain amount of fabric to put them together. You can see where the seam allowance is here off of this thing that we just cut apart. But I'm going to line that thing up, throw some pins in this to hold it together, and then we'll start throwing the sleeves on. I'm going to go through the basics of putting this together. Again, some of you guys have done this several times by now, and if not, or if you've forgotten, this should bring you back. But we're going to try to put this thing back together and then see how small it became. Now I would like you guys to also keep your eyes open around your closets and around your family's closets for some other pieces of clothing that we can alter in the future. Something you're not terribly concerned about or worried about. Alright, pinned. Ta-da! Looks like it's getting there. Now remember, this is the tricky part when you're putting the sleeves on. Ordinarily we'd stop and sew that now, but I'm going to keep moving forward. What I want to do right now is I'm going to use this sleeve over here. I've set this up so that I am, oh wait a minute, silly me, I shouldn't have done that. Leave it like that. Leave the sleeve over there. Alright, now, here is how I'm going to demonstrate this on one sleeve and then we'll move on. You have this set up so it's good side up, remember? The seam allowance is now folded under. Now I'm going to fold the sleeve over on top of it. Find that center point, that midpoint is going to be the apex of your shoulder. Fold this over on top of it. Now, that pins to there. Then, and whenever we're doing those blousey sleeves, remember we just go to the end and mix it up. But I'm just going to work my way around. I am making this piece of fabric line up to this piece of fabric. And this is the whole issue of you guys being 3D animals and not straight and square and linear. We've got to bend the fabric to follow that around. And it looks like I'm going to be a little short when I get around to the armpits. I may have to make some more modifications to this to make that happen. Then I will repeat this process from the center point, go into the other side, and then I'll be able to repeat the same process over here onto the other sleeve. At that point, I'll be ready to take it to the stapler or sewing machine, whichever you have first. If you want to sit and hand sew it, by all means, hand sew it and have a good time with it. But that is the trick. Now I'm going to do the same thing going this way, which is going to pull the fabric around, but the whole point is to make that edge and that edge line up and be happy together. And then it will line up when you sew it together. And your seam allowance, which in this case was like about a 1/4 inch, I usually like to make it about a thumb width. I'm a rougher sewer than that, so I want more fabric in there for the seam allowance. Alright, that's the trick. Now what I'd like to see you guys do, if you have the ability to put these things together with regular sewing needles or with staplers or with a sewing machine, let's see how it came out. It may be fitting like your smaller sister now, it may be fitting just a pillow inside to see what it looks like. But I'll have this thing put together and shown to you guys next class. Alright? See you soon.